Welcome to Streams of Income, hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
All right, looks like it's recording on my end now. All right, welcome everybody to the Streams of Income podcast, and this is a special one because this one's going to be shared to the Coffee Scholar channel as well. And we are here with, as you can see from his background, if you're watching the video version, Ronald Scadina, and he is the coffee guy for EarthFirst Organics, right? Or are you like a separate contractor? Or
no, it's actually I'm a co-founder, and they put me on to help with the coffee. I started with them from the beginning, back in December of 2023, and a co-founder, investor, and president of all things coffee at EarthFirst Organics.
Yeah, and if you're watching the video version here, I have my bag of Colombia single origin coffee here that I've been drinking. Matter of fact, I've got some right here that I'm drinking for the show, and it's been pretty good. So how did you get involved in, I guess let's cover the company first and then coffee specifically after that.
Sure. So I got involved with the guys, a bunch of the guys that are the co-founders of EarthFirst about 4.5, 5 years ago when I was with another company that I had invested in, and I was the senior VP there. A new, an ingredients company by the name of Dairyland/ADM came to me, and we were negotiating creating a probiotic coffee. At that point, the lady from Dairyland introduced me to Adair Barton, the CFO of EarthFirst Organic, and said, "You need to meet Adair." And so I met Adair, and at that point, we were working on a coffee for another brand that I'm an investor in to do probiotic coffee. And with the sachets. So if you're familiar, I didn't know if we sent you some of the I think I sent you some of the sachets also. So
no, I haven't gotten those yet, but that looks pretty cool.
So you're going to get some of these, and we have these in EarthFirst Organic, and they come in a sachet like this, and we put the same coffee you're drinking, we grind it for you and put in a little tea bag. So all you got to do is dip and dunk it, 20 seconds to extract, and you got coffee. Same coffee, all ground, no instant, but it's a quick experience. And what we did was I had met Adair because we created a probiotic coffee at another company that never launched it. I was doing the innovation over there. And as we continue to develop our friendship, when the other company I was involved with, when I was let go in that company, actually in December when it was running short of funds, Adair and I with the team came together and said, why don't we create a coffee business within EarthFirst Organic and then do eventually the probiotic coffee and some other things. And my goal was really to do the coffee with mushrooms. So today, as we speak, our coffee that you're drinking is being blended with rock certified mushrooms up in Utah. So within
that is awesome.
The coffee you're drinking is going to have rock certified mushrooms in it, lion's made, 500 milligrams or a half a gram in every cup of coffee.
See, that's amazing because I'm a big fan of mushroom coffee. I won't mention the competitor that I've been drinking theirs for a while, but they've got a focus blend, something along those lines with the lion's mane in it. Love it. And the flavor is amazing.
Well, if you like the flavor of this rock coffee you're drinking, we're taking the Rock Columbia Single Origin, which is an 84-point coffee, from a co-op, and we're combining it with rock certified mushrooms. So it'll be the only rock certified coffee with rock certified mushrooms that exists. I haven't seen it. We're creating it. Yeah,
that's pretty amazing. I'm looking forward to that. And you guys go through some hoops for the rock certified. I mean, that's not a cheap endeavor or an easy one, I would imagine.
No, it's interesting because the CEO, Jason, suggested that we should look into rock coffee. So in early 24, we bought some rock coffee from a company called Sucafina, and it was a very limited quantity out of Nicaragua. We launched our first prototype using a Nicaraguan coffee, and it came out really, really nicely. They weren't going to have a lot of supply of it. And so with the roaster that I partnered with, I asked him to help me source a good quality product that was rock certified. And because more and more companies are looking to do it, but like you said, there are hoops to jump through. There's an organization called ROA, and they certify us as a brand. Our roaster has to be certified, and any of our packaging partners has to be certified as well. So our mushroom blender, the mushrooms have to be rock certified, which they are. The coffee has to be rock certified, and EarthFirst as a brand has to be rock certified. So we went through all those hoops, and as you see on the bag, this coffee is rock certified.
Yeah, love seeing that, and it makes a difference. I mean, I know a little more about coffee, I guess, than some people. I mean, certainly not as much as you, but could you tell us real quick, sum up, like I've heard things about fungus and mold and all kinds of stuff in normal coffee that people don't think about.
You know, the roaster that I work with is a 40-year-old family roaster, and their coffees have been certified and tested using third-party suppliers that actually do those testings. So I've never had a problem with it. But to your point, I have a friend right now that I speak with every other Tuesday in Australia, and he has a health issue tied to fungus in the roasting and bean process in his factory in Australia. And he's in his early 60s right now and is having trouble breathing. So what you brought up is real. The company that I work with to roast and source our beans for EarthFirst, the coffees have been tested. So we have some of the best quality coffee in the world, period.
Oh, yeah. That's why you shouldn't buy cheap coffee. And of course, you know, the stuff you see at the grocery store in those big plastic tubs, you know, don't ever buy that stuff. You need to order some fresh stuff. And unless you're getting into the sachets, just grind it yourself and enjoy the aroma and the process.
Well, I think you're going to love this sachet, Dave. And the other thing we did, which is pretty cool, is if you take a look at this cup right here, you'll see that this is a pour over. And what happens with this, it's a little different than the sachet I just showed you, because the pour over, actually you peel the top off, and all you do is, so that you can still be involved in the process, is you pour the water into the actual pour over, and all of a sudden you got a cup of coffee. But the nice thing about this is the water goes right to the coffee, so there's no material in between it, which means the TDS of the coffee is higher, it extracts better, and it's closer to what you're doing at home if you're using a Chemex or a French press, okay?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, aside from when I'm in a hurry and I use the machine, the Chemex is my favorite way to go.
I think it's good.
Yeah. So what got you into coffee?
Well, so you're going to love this. I was bussing tables at a restaurant while going to college in 1978. And I met a guy there that invited me to go work for his company part-time. I was going to college, bussing tables, and he owned, you're going to love this, he owned a carpet company. Okay, what does carpet have to do with coffee? Carpet. I go, carpet. He goes, well, I don't want you to install carpet, but maybe you could sell a little carpet, but I have a new venture. And I go, okay, what's the new venture? He goes, we're going to be doing file storage for medical facilities. I go, what? He goes, yeah, we're going to take the files out of a hospital and store them in a big warehouse because real estate's so expensive for hospitals. I go, okay, well, that's interesting. So he hires me as the guy to kind of help sell carpet on part-time and kind of help him launch a new startup called File Safe. So we're going to file storages. Okay, all the way fast forward. A guy comes along. He wants to buy the file storage business. He meets me. He said, hey, can we have lunch? I said, sure. He goes, look, I'm not interested in the business. I'm interested in you. I own a coffee company, he said. I want to teach you about coffee. I go, what? I don't know anything about coffee except cream and sugar and peanut butter dunked in coffee on Saturdays with my dad. Cream and sugar, because he's from New York, peanut butter toast. So that's how that was our cheap donut, a piece of bread, white bread with peanut butter, and we dunked it in coffee, and we called that a donut. Okay, that was our donut. Well, wow. So
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, cream. Well, the New Yorkers love cream and sugar, and we use toast because when you're like, my dad came out of the Depression era, it's like they're poor. They can't, they're not buying donuts. They got a little piece of white bread, right? So this guy taught me coffee. He knew coffee. He had been in it 25 years. He worked for Bunn Coffee Brewers, the big commercial company. They're still in business. And he was traveling 10 states with his boxer fixing machines for Denny's for Bunn. to keep all the machines brewing coffee 24/7. He taught me about coffee equipment. He taught me about coffee, and we had a coffee service, and I worked for him for 5 years. One of the years when I worked for him, he had a heart attack. When he had the heart attack, I ran the business with his wife who did the bookkeeping. So at 21 years old, I was running a coffee service in Silicon Valley, and we were doing office coffee, which wasn't even heard of back then, where we gave you a free coffee machine if you bought our coffee. And we had MJB, Folgers, Hillsborough Brothers, and Maxwell House coffee. And then we came up with an idea, wait, everybody's got the same coffee, and we're all competing for the same customers. So we created what's called a private label coffee, and we put the name of our company on the bag of coffee. So today you see EarthFirst Organic Coffee. I learned how to do this back in 1980, okay? Put a brand on coffee that I source. So I got to source coffee and create a brand back in 1980. And here I am 45 years later, still in the coffee business. Owned several companies, invested in several companies, and now helping with all the innovation at EarthFirst Organic Coffee.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. So I'm guessing by this time you've been to coffee plantations all over the world.
I've traveled to a lot of them, but not as many as I hope to in the future. It's like you work your whole life to get to do stuff like this, right? But then you got to take, half a month off to go. I'm hoping to go to Guatemala either probably early next year, because I'm starting to source some coffee from Guatemala as well.
Yeah.
But the roaster that I work with, of course, he's been all over the world, and I've been to a lot of countries. One of my favorite coffees in the world is Kona coffee. Love Kona. Yeah. I've been to Kona at least 20 times. It's one of my favorite coffees. Have you tried Kona coffee?
Yeah, I love it. It's in my top 3.
Okay, good. What are the other 2?
Rwandan's my favorite, and then Jamaican second.
Okay. Oh my goodness, Jamaican Blue Mountain, right? Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I've drank a lot of Jamaican. I have been to Source as well there, and then done some traveling to Africa.
Yeah, see, I hated coffee growing up because my grandpa always drank Maxwell House, and it smelled and tasted nasty. And but when I was in my 20s, my sister went to Jamaica for a honeymoon and brought me back some Blue Mountain, and so that's the first time I tried real coffee. Before that, in the military, we would put coffee in our hot chocolate, and just as the water for the hot chocolate, just to stay awake on guard duty. And that was my coffee experience before the good stuff.
That's hilarious. I'm excited to hear about that. It's funny. So I've been in Jamaica and I've drank their coffee. And what I will say is, I've had the craziest dreams on Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. I don't know about you. Like, have you ever had like wild dreams on Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee? Seriously.
No, I never have, but maybe it's got something to do with the Rastafarians that live up there near the plantations.
Something's going on out there. I'll tell you what. I guess it's probably good not to have espresso shots at 11 o'clock before you go to bed either.
But I mean, now you're making me want to buy some just to drink it right before bed and try it out.
You should do it. I mean, eventually, we're going to be sourcing coffee from all over the world. I had a call yesterday with a group that's got coffee from Uganda, and they want to partner with EarthFirst, and they're doing some interesting things with farming. I'm talking with people right now in different parts of the world. One of the places I think is really interesting is the Philippines, which has some pretty interesting coffee. I also love coffee from El Salvador, and with the new government down there, things are happening. They're starting to harvest some good coffee. I know some people that are growing coffee there. So I see a great future for EarthFirst having a variety of coffee from around the world. But right now, this rock certified coffee is becoming more and more in demand. And I was told recently that a large retailer in the U.S. is going to move to 50% of all their coffee needing to be rock, or they're not going to sell. Wow. So we're going to see this incredible trend to having the best farming behind coffee, so that it's the best possible coffee for you and your body. And then with EarthFirst and all of our background in nutrition, taking probiotics, taking the mushrooms, the lion's mane that we're doing now, prebiotics, postbiotics. When you start adding all these fun things, I think people are going to get more value out of their cup of coffee for a very minimal significant increase. You know what I mean? So I think
it's not just a caffeine jumpstart. It's like its own supplement.
Exactly. And there are a lot of benefits with coffee too.
Yeah, man, I love it. Yeah, and the great thing about Kona, I mean, because it's probably still the only American-made coffee, right? or American grown?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. So I'm working right now with a group down in Santa Barbara, and you'll need, of course, California. I'm in California. I'm in Santa Cruz. So California real estate is some of the most expensive real estate in the world. Now, you go south down Santa Barbara and you think about the Santa Barbara coast, there are people there converting farms that were growing avocados to growing coffee. And some of this coffee that they're yielding right now is going to be 3 or 4 or 5 times as expensive as Kona coffee. And it's phenomenal because of the way it's grown in California on that coast with that breeze coming in and off the coastline. Of course, the warmth in Santa Barbara, if you think about it. And I've tasted some of this coffee. So it is American coffee for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's going to be incredible. So to your point, Kona, Maui, there's a lot of coffee all over the islands, not just Kona. And a lot of it's excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been a kind of a fan of how coffee people nerd out over their own specific things. Like, I don't like blends. I like single origin, and but I'll put stuff in my coffee. Like I like hot honey, like spicy honey.
Really?
So what do you nerd out about with your coffee? Like,
it's interesting you mentioned that. So I love Manuka honey, and the other day I have a beautiful espresso machine on my counter, and I like taking the coffee you're drinking now in whole beans, and I have a commercial grinder on my counter. So I grind it for espresso, and I'll send you some pictures and video of what it looks like. It's some of the most beautiful espresso I've ever made using my espresso machine and grinding the coffee for espresso. So I kind of nerd out using different coffees around the world in an espresso machine, and then combining different kinds of honey. You mentioned, I've never tried the honey you mentioned, but I have Manuka, which I love, from Australia and New Zealand, some of the best honey in the world. And then in Santa Cruz, there's a lot of local honey that's phenomenal. So I like using different kinds of honey, just a little bit of honey with the espresso shots. And then sometimes it's fun to make a cappuccino. I don't do it very often, but it's fun using real milk, believe it or not. Everybody wants to use oat, soy, almond, but once in a while using real milk from the Bay Area in Northern California with real cows and like all organic. It's beautiful. It has this foam that's phenomenal on a cappuccino. So that's one of the ways I do it. But I think the basic way is trying different methods of brewing with the same coffee to see how it yields different, whether it's the sachet, pour over, espresso, drip, Chemex, whatever kind of French press you have. So AeroPress, there's a lot of different ways to brew coffee.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, the spicy honey, right now I've got I should have it in some Jamaican. It's Scotch bonnet peppers in the honey. And like you drink the coffee and then you catch a bite at the end. It's pretty good.
It's pretty interesting. You mentioned honey. So one of our suppliers is from Guatemala. Their farm's a 100-year-old family farm in Guatemala. And now to make more money for the farmers, they're doing honey with flowers from the coffee plant. Yeah. So if you think of the coffee cherry, there's flowers, and the honeybees, they're taking the honey that's created by the honeybees from the coffee trees. And I just got a gallon of it from my partner out of Guatemala, and I've been using the Guatemalan honey from the bees from the coffee flower with coffee, which is like, so that's another one I'm geeking out, right? To your point.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I wonder if there's any caffeine content in the honey itself, just because of the.
I don't know. I actually, it's a good question. I'll have to ask.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. All right, so we've nerded out about coffee. For the streams of income side of things with the podcast. So what all have you done leading up to this? I mean, you mentioned some of the with the carpet cleaning and the other stuff, but what else have you done in your career that's kind of led you to this point, or just. Or other things that you did that's like, man, I am never doing that again.
That's interesting. Well, I got to tell you, laying carpet's not easy. You talk about
wear your knees out.
Talk about your knees and your back. But I will say this: recently, I pulled some carpet out of my master bedroom just to expose the beautiful hardwood floors, and I can't believe how many tacks go into the hardwood to hold the mat down. I don't think I'll ever do a carpet installation again. I got to go hardwood. So that's something I don't want to do. I've done a lot of landscaping in my lifetime, which I love doing here in my own yard. But my family were farmers, right? So we were in the Bay Area. We were into prunes, cherries. And so I picked a lot of cherries, picked a lot of prunes at a very young age, and have the value of understanding farming. I love it to the point where I value what we do at EarthFirst. At a company called another coffee company, I helped them do about 12 million in revenue in 4 years, and we raised 15 million of investment capital to create a technology that's proprietary with patents in 20 countries right now for that fully compostable packaging. So that was interesting. But I started a small company to do vending and coffee service in the Bay Area, office coffee. And so I had a contract with Coke and Pepsi, and I'll tell you, that's another very hard business, is doing vending and delivering. The coffee was easy, but the sodas and snacks and the trucks involved and the people and the warehousing, very difficult. Yeah. I think the thing I'm excited about the most with EarthFirst is that we're going to have a variety of nutrition product combined with coffee, which is very unique, with some of the best people that have ever done it, right, on the EarthFirst side, on the nutrition, and combining that with the knowledge of taking that product direct to consumers using D2C to get them the best quality products that are available in the world that we're creating for them without them having necessarily to go to a store. Not that some of our products, meaning some of the coffee, might be sold in stores, but that isn't really our first, like you said, revenue stream. I think it's going to be the D2C. And having the right marketing message around the regenerative organic certifications with the coffee and the mushrooms, so that people know they're getting the finest quality product for their body.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we've not explicitly mentioned it yet, but for everybody listening to this, the EarthFirst vitamins are amazing. I mean, I've taken them for a while, and multivitamins from other companies, like, they would make me sick to my stomach. Like, they were, I had to eat a certain amount of food with them, which, of course, took away the nutritional value of taking the vitamins sometimes. And but these from EarthFirst, I mean, I like them.
I've been taking them faithfully, and I'm a real nutrition freak when it comes to using good stuff. And to your point, I don't burp and taste vitamins like I would with other vitamins. Yeah. It seems like they actually don't all come out when you use the restroom. You know what I mean? It's like, no, there's no change from the quality because they're such good quality. And I got to tell you, I've traveled all over the last 2 years, with probably 10, 15 trade shows with thousands and thousands of people, and they've kept me healthy.
Yeah. The trade show flu it's a real thing.
It is.
Yep. So I tell you what, I know you're crunched for time because I want you back to work, making me some awesome coffee and bringing me some cool stuff. So we'll wrap up with I always like to ask everybody if you could recommend 3 things, books, people, whatever, to set people up for success in life. What would be your top 3 recommendations?
Well, one of the books I like is called The All Blacks, and The All Blacks is written by the New Zealand rugby team. And there's great books and practical. In that book, there's great takeaways for how to have success in business. Secondarily, I love John Maxwell. John Maxwell has a leadership Bible for business people, which is pretty interesting. I hadn't even heard about it till my son gave me one for Father's Day. And then, so those 2 things are really phenomenal. And then I think the third thing for me is making sure you get away from all media. And I try to swim, 30 to 40 minutes, 4 or 5 times a week, not to mention walk 3 to 4 miles a day, just to kind of zone out. No phones, you're under the water. And I think that's important to really maintain, mental health, along with having vitamins and great coffee.
Amazing. Yeah, I've even seen where they make headphones now that you can wear while you're swimming, and that just seems to take away from the whole value of the experience.
No, I agree with you, but I will say this one lady at the gym wears a snorkel, and I hear her singing. So she's got ear pods in, and she's singing, so she's doing something with her lungs that I'm going, singing's wonderful, right, for our lungs and like our spirit. But this lady, I can hear her when I'm just like doing breaststroke because she's singing through her snorkel. So to your point, I guess there's also there's good and bad with all of it. You know what I mean? But I think the thing without media is better for me when I swim.
Yeah. And no matter what you're doing, you need some time away, just every now and then. Yeah. Well, Ronald, thanks for being with us, man. Yeah.
I was going to say, I see you're a Marine. I want to thank you for your service, and
Oh yeah.
appreciate you taking the time today to make time for Earth First and what we do in coffee and nutrition. We value our partnership.
Oh yeah, and I'm enjoying the products. I love what you guys are putting out, and of course, I've made some cool friends at EarthFirst, and I've even been on some of your commercials filmed here on my farm.
I love it. How many acres do you have there?
I've got 10 acres. I'm trying to buy another 100 right next door, though.
I love it. Good for you. Well, I wish you success in that.
Yeah, I just the climate just doesn't work for growing coffee, though.
Well, I guess we'll have to get you some from California, from Santa Barbara.
Yeah, man. At first I've heard of that. I'm looking forward to it now.
Yeah, I have a call in the next couple of days with the guy that owns the farm down there, so we'll see if we can get you a sample.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, I'll let you go, man. I appreciate you being with me and nerding out with me a little bit on the coffee.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Okay, bye-bye.